CMOs are facing more pressures than ever. Tell me what's changed recently in terms of expectations.
The focus seems to be on justifying your spend and justifying your existence.
$26,000 worth of sides?
Have you had to make any adjustments to your strategy?
I have definitely had to pull back. You see people going all in and then losing their way.
The CMO squeeze.
Hi, just checking in. Did you have a chance to look at my marketing proposal?
I did. Talk me through it a bit.
So, we're planning on setting up pop-up installations in malls all across the country. It'll be super curated with staff on hand to let people interact with our products, and there'll even be a DJ playing music and snacks being served. We're calling them pop-up parties. So, what do you think?
That sounds incredible. I love it. So innovative.
Really?
Yes. Just one eeny weeny teeny tiny adjustment.
Name it.
I need you to do all this on half the budget.
But how?
Who needs a DJ and snacks? Music is overrated, and so is food. Problem solved. You know, we make such a great team.
Right. Looks like it's going to be one of those quarters.
Hi, I'm Jill Wiltfong, Chief Marketing Officer for Korn Ferry, and this is Briefings, our deep dive into topics that corporate leaders need to care about. Well, listen, I love my role, but objectively speaking, you could argue CMOs are facing more pressures than ever. Budgets are down an average of 15% this year, but demands to prove the value of marketing efforts, the so-called ROI, keep growing. Most importantly, it's the CMO in most firms who's expected to integrate all the millions of dollars companies are spending on artificial intelligence into everything from advertising to content development and more. This before the technology is even mature. And let's not forget how little time CMOs have to do all of this. Their average tenure is the shortest of all C-suite jobs. So let's explore the CMO squeeze. Before we start, if you're watching us on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts on this topic. I am joined today by a good friend, Gaby Boko, Chief Marketing Officer for NetApp in Silicon Valley. As a marketer with over 2 decades of experience, I can think of no one better to speak on this topic. So welcome to the podcast, Gaby.
I am so excited to be here, not just because it's you, but because you and I have great conversations. So this is going to be fun.
What I find really interesting about your background is you started your career thinking you were going to be a lawyer. What made you shift to marketing? Why did you choose this route?
Yeah, I think it probably carries over to even what I like today. I am a slight bit of an introvert. I do geek out on things like data and getting a little widgety. So law for me was one of those things where I was passionate about, reading the books and being in the library and going through the briefs. And then I woke up one day and said, oh no, that's really boring. I can't do that my whole life. That's like something fun I want to do. And I remember going home to my mom at some point and I was crying and I was like, I'm never going to be a lawyer and I don't know what to do with my life. And she handed me a newspaper and she's like, well, first thing you need to do is get a job.
Fair enough. So now it's been a good little while that you've been doing this marketing thing. Tell me what's changed recently in terms of expectations and what you do as a CMO. Have you seen a shift there in what you're expected to work on?
The focus seems to be inordinately on justifying your spend and justifying your existence through the metric of business or revenue to the company. And I think that's a hard place to be in for marketers, right? I think it's incumbent upon marketers to try to find a way to pull that back and say, we're more than just that, and here's how you need to adopt it. But I think that's first point of entry for most companies, and most CMOs get stuck there.
Many marketers have smaller budgets this year. Have you had to make any adjustments to your strategy to cope with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I talked up at the top at one, right? Where are we going to advertise? I'm not going to do much advertising. I'm going to do it very prescriptively. Some search and some out of home. Definitely had to pull back. Listen, I think marketing is great, right? Because you can have a very wide mix and you can dial those levers up and down. For me right now, digital is one that I keep on a slow simmer because I need other things to work in order to feed the engine to get me scale. Digital is my scale engine.
Yes. Jordy, look what you got here.
What?
Look at this. $26,000.
Okay, no, this could be explained. Dad, we had the Pfizer clients.
Right, the porterhouse from Argentina.
The expensive champagne and the wine. We had to buy champagne and
I ordered the sides, so...
Sides?
Yeah.
Sides? $26,000 worth of sides? What are these sides? They cure cancer?
That's a scene from The Wolf of Wall Street where Rob Reiner plays a chief financial officer of sorts who serves up a tongue lashing over how the company's funds are being spent. Gaby, when it comes to budgets, we know the CFO holds those purse strings. And funnily enough, you and I were on a podcast recently about bridging the CMO, CFO divide, where you actually talked about how CFOs get frustrated by CMO metrics or sometimes the lack thereof. Can you share a little bit more about your perspective there?
Yeah. I have decided and discovered that I don't need to be best friends with my CFO. I have also discovered that my metrics on my day-to-day, like leads, MQLs, SQLs, pipeline, that doesn't interest him. I have to and have started to pivot to say, what are the metrics that are most important to you? For him, it's, investment and investors. How is market share in helping that, right? And how can I start to prove those metrics out? I think what I've gotten to is I just need to be a really good partner. And I need him to see that I am that versus I'm right or he's right.
Let's switch gears and talk about tech for a second, a space you know very well. Generative AI is one of the biggest changes we've all experienced in whatever function you're in. For marketing, nearly 9 in 10 marketers have used or experimented with AI. How has AI changed the way you and your team are operating today?
I like marketing as the first person in, jump in the pool. I'm ready. Let's try it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll try it. I think marketing should be that risk thing, that risk assessor. I think AI for me right now is I am trying to have a balance. It's my job to have my team risk, but I need to have a balance. I've seen many, many trends. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but when you look at all the trends, right, you see people going all in and then losing their way. Right. I think we saw that exclusively on, let's just call it the digital focus that came out of COVID. People went all in on, hybrid meetings and digital meetings and meeting online and what that means for experiences online and, really up in the ante. And now that people want to be face to face, that signals an old school. We're done with that. I think what I'm just trying to do is perfect a hover state. I need to be somewhere in the middle and say, whatever happens, we're on the train.
One of my very favorite things about you is your positivity. So I want to end on a fun story, and whether it's AI related or maybe it has nothing to do with AI. Tell me about your favorite marketing campaign that you've ever led. What made it exciting? I suspect it might inspire some of us.
Oh, I'm going to go a little old school on my campaigns. My favorite campaigns were when I was younger, quite frankly, and I have two of them. One is I did this when mail was a thing and not email.
What is mail? People are Googling that right now.
When the post office was a thing, precursor to all digital lists, but it was really about customer lists and how do you reach those customers. We had an issue where people didn't understand all the terminology. Technologies can be a little word salady. And so I did a campaign over a year of all the terms we use. And I got so much response and so many customers and even competitors trying to imitate it. That to me was just, when you have a concept and it's I'm just trying to make it easy for people who want to understand us. And then it kind of it jumps the shark and you see other people doing it. That's one of my favorites. And then my second favorite, again, is super old school. It's a bus tour.
Oh, no, like a wrapped bus?
And it wasn't even my idea, but it's this back to basics, like when all else fails.
Yeah.
Or do you want to meet your customers' needs? How do you want to tell a story? And what's the most unique way you can get there? I think both of those vehicles are like, listen, nothing is wrong whenever you're trying to do that, right? You don't have to do it the way everybody else does. And sometimes standing out from the crowd is what makes marketing the most fun. So yeah, those are my favorite.
Well, Gaby, my dear marketing bestie, it has been great chatting with you. Let's definitely do it again.
Let's totally do it again. I like talking to you.
All right. Well, that is it for me for now. Up next, be sure to stick around because we're going to have some important news from the business world from This Week in Leadership. So stay tuned.
Hi, and welcome to This Week in Leadership. I'm Rupak Bhattacharya, and here's a quick look at what else is happening in business.
People that are leading that really have never been equipped or trained to lead.
2/3 of British managers failed to receive training before they took their managerial role. That's despite 1/3 demanding it. Experts say that while letting managers sink or swim on their own may have passed muster in the past, a more intentional approach is needed for today's much more complex business environment.
Implement reverse mentoring.
At a time when nearly half of managers call Gen Zers difficult to work with, a handful of firms are asking Gen Z workers to mentor their older colleagues. Studies have shown that this so-called reverse mentoring may help improve relations between different generations in the workforce.
Why CEO turnover is increasing.
According to a new analysis of Fortune 100 firms, only 19% of modern CEOs have spent their entire tenure at just one firm, a precipitous drop from 44% back in 1980. One major factor is that boards have become more appreciative of the diversity of experience brought by outside CEOs. For more insights on business and leadership, head to kornferry.com/insights.
The executive producer of Briefings is Jonathan Dahl. Today's episode was produced by Rupak Bhattacharya, Nadira Putri, and Teresa Allen, and it was edited by Jaron Henry McRae. It contains reporting by Russell Perlman, Ariane Cohen, and Peter Loria. Our video segment contains original artwork by Fraser Milton, Haley Kennel, Jonathan Pink, and Sasha Kotschik. Don't forget to read our magazine, available at newsstands and at kornferry.com/briefings. That's it for Korn Ferry Briefings. I'm Jill Wiltfong. See you next time.
No, we won't say that. Here, let's do it again. It's going to be mean to you, and I can't be mean to you. It's not fun.